Hi. Well, everyone is trying to figure out what is going on in California. However, there have been people like me that have been telling you and warning you for years that this was going to happen. Now it's happening, and everybody is just been out of shape because we're seeing the intentional destruction of one of the greatest cities in the United States. But let me just remind you of something. This did not start in the LA area. Remember what happened in New York? Remember they moved all of the illegal immigrants and they put them in some of the best hotels in New York, and they gave them the free housing and free food and everything that they need where U.S. veterans were on the streets. Remember, this we saw happen in New York City. Then let's go on to Chicago. And remember what happened in Chicago? Something very similar. They moved illegal immigrants into Chicago, into rec centers that were built for young black kids, and they moved them all throughout the city where people who were natives to Chicago no longer felt comfortable in their own cities. Now, let's keep moving. And now what's left? Let's go to Los Angeles. And so they said, okay, what are we going to do to LA? And we see all of the fires. Now, I can pretend with you, and we'll see if they'll let them keep this video up, but I'm not going to keep pretending with you. Everything that you're seeing is planned. We've been warning you about this for many years, and you labeled us as, what's that term? I don't use it anymore. I think they call it conspiracy theorists. That term to me only means that you're not smart enough to see what's right in your face and make logical conclusions from it. It's called critical thinking. Therefore, my critical thinking skills keeps me from being a conspiracy theorist, okay? But let's look at LA and all of the fires. Now, we have all of these coincidences that are going on right now. The coincidences. First of all, remember they had the reservoirs were empty. And I just read that some people said they've been empty since 2010. And then not only that, those reservoirs carried 117 million gallons of water that could have been used to put these fires out. And then not only that, there's a process called desalination that could have been used where they take the water from the ocean water and remove the salts and minerals out of the water so that the water can then be used even for drinking, for plumbing, and for even industrial use. And they chose not to do it. And then let's just keep going, because California just seemed to be just ripe for the picking for the globalists that have decided to pick it right now. Because now then they changed, and then they had this proposition, remember, where looting was not considered a crime. As a matter of fact, there was very little that's a crime in California. You could almost do whatever you want to, and you can just get away with it. And they had, what was it called? They had this proposition where Proposition 47, and in Proposition 47, it said that if you stole up to $950 worth of goods, that it was not even a crime. And it didn't even matter that proposition took precedent over other propositions or other state laws that were stricter, because it was the primary law for California. So now you have no water, you had no water power for the fire departments. And then not only that, I almost forgot, you laid off all of the firemen. And so when the fire started, and people are saying they have videos of people starting fires. So when the people decide to start the fires, you did not have any firefighters. That's number one, no firefighters. Who was supposed to stop these fires? Who was supposed to go and fight them? No firefighters. They laid off all the firemen. Remember, they took all of the money from the budget from the fire department and gave it to, some kind of climate change, whatever. And so they didn't have any firemen. Then on top of that, they didn't have any water. So even if they did have firemen, they would not have had any water. And so we have this situation that someone is setting fires all over LA County and the surrounding areas. You don't have any water. You don't have any firemen. And if people come and loot the houses that burn down, there's nothing you can do about it. Is that unbelievable? And then let's get to your governor. Governor Gavin Newsom says, don't you all sit here and blame me. Let's find solutions. You know what a real governor does? I live in the great state of Texas. We have a good governor and we have a great attorney general. Do you know what they do? And lieutenant governor, do you know what they do? They make sure that the state is taken care of before situations get to this level. But unfortunately, half the time they're fighting the same people that's on the side with Gavin Newsom, like they had to fight people with this illegal immigration and this unbridled immigration. But back to Gavin Newsom. He says, don't blame me for this, and don't talk about me for this. I'm doing whatever I can do. But you know what you were supposed to do? You were supposed to be doing things before it got to this level. Your responsibility as a governor was to stop it or to make sure that it did not happen. There is no reason for you to have a reservoir that is supposed to support an area as populated as LA County and you do not have any water in it. That was negligence, okay? That's pure negligence. Then you laid off the fire department, the firefighters, because you all said you all didn't need firefighters. You needed what? Some kind of something that you all always say about this climate change stuff. So you're taking money from real situations and real issues and you pour it into issues and situations that you are kind of dreaming up and you hope won't happen in the future. So anyway, Gavin Newsom, we're going to blame you. We're going to blame you. We're going to blame all of the people around you. And what we're seeing is all of these Democrat-led major cities across the country are being decimated by irresponsible leaders. Irresponsible. They're irresponsible in taking care of their people. They're irresponsible at looking at things that can help their communities because their whole time they're spent on doing things that will only benefit them and their globalist friends and masters. The people who have said for years that they were coming to destroy the United States, those are the people that you work with and that you work for. And they have it where now you have done all of these things to your city, but to your communities. The one thing that I do have to say is a thing with the insurance. You know, I mean, that's not coincidental that everybody lost insurance and all of these insurance carriers left. And you know what? Now it makes me wonder. I have two questions. Did the insurance carriers leave because they heard that in a couple of years y'all were going to have fires? Is that why they left? You know, you have to look at all of these things because the things that we're seeing that are happening right now all over our country were planned. They were already told that they were going to do this. All people have to do is look at this global reset that we have been telling you about for the last 5 to 10, 15 years. All you have to do is look at it. I mean, they're telling you exactly what they were doing, but every time we tell someone something, what happens? Then you all say, like you said today, no, you all need to do something about all of this misinformation. Let us go and destroy this beautiful city, this beautiful area. We're going to destroy it, but don't let people talk about it. Please, we got to do something, Joe Biden. Please do something about all these social media sites and letting people like Dee Curtis coming out here talking about we're ruining our communities. Please stop her. Now, you're not saying anything about stopping the people that are starting the fires. You're not saying anything about stopping the people that are going to benefit from the fires. And let's talk about that for a few minutes. We know a lot of people will benefit from these fires. And let me just talk about that for a minute. The people who will benefit are the people that are going to go in and buy this land for pennies on the dollar, and then they will redevelop it. And not only will they redevelop it, but you and your corrupt governments will give them money to redevelop it at the expense and the losses of all of the people that lost everything because of the fires that you knew were coming. And so, you know, you have people like me that's sitting here looking at you saying you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed. You and all of the people, you and the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, you and all of your other friends that you knew all of these things were happening to our country in our major cities, and you sided with the people that you knew their goal was to destroy our country. You knew that. And so to you, Governor Newsom, I say you're full of it. You're full of it. You watched your state be decimated, and you sat there beside the people that you knew were going to do it. And this, your state is not the first. Like I said, it's going in the major cities because these globalists said they were going to destroy the United States, and they destroyed the United States by destroying our major cities first. And the only reason they haven't gotten to Dallas and Houston yet is because in Texas, we have a real governor and a real attorney general and a real lieutenant governor. And we have mayors in our cities that are not going to sell our cities out to the highest bidders. Anyway, that's my Saturday night summary of what you people have done to our country.